Chapter 6, the moist envelope of the soul, loving the skin you're in. Talk a little bit about that chapter, and then let's dive into oil as a cleanser, as well as stop, seal, and seed.
Okay, yes. The moist envelope of our soul, so that is our skin. And I think we have this relationship where we don't necessarily realize it's this living thing on our body, and it's only a few milliliters thick, but what protects us and engages us with the outside world. And so much information comes in, as well as communication within the body from this moist envelope of our soul. And we've been educated about it and how dynamic it is, and that it also, it absorbs. So everything that we're applying transdermally will go into our skin. And that's a real gift if we're applying the right things, because then we can put things on that help our skin and then benefit our immune system. Or we can put on things that are petroleum-based, paraben-based, and then we can find them in our breast tissue 40 years from now.
Exactly.
So we got to make that choice. And, again, the science is really fascinating, because now through understanding the microbiome, we can see things that like acne, eczema, hyperpigmentation, thrush, dandruff, all these things are actually not about skin type. That's all like marketing hype, but it's actually about microbiome imbalance. And so we have been over exfoliating, over picking, over plucking. And, we've really been trying to appease the skin we're in, but with methods that are going to cause our cells to shrink and shrivel. So it's going to lead to frustration, because we've been buying all these products that will actually cause cellular damage. They may have a temporary plumping, so that day you might feel moist and plump, but as the years go on, these things are drying up the cells, killing off the microbiome. We're applying chemicals to acne, which is further creating a dysbiosis. And besides over exfoliating, like exfoliating's fine, but we've really gone overboard. And so we're over exfoliating the top cells of the stratum corneum too fast. And then the young cells underneath are too young to be on the surface yet. And that's causing imbalances, can also lead to melasma or chronic irritation. Yeah. On top of all this, we now have studies that show that surfactants, whether that's from your mild foaming cleanser or your hardcore soap, like just soap, like from the drugstore, that the surfactants are lodging themselves into the stratum corneum, which is the top layer of the skin, and staying there even after rinsing.
Oh my goodness.
So day after day, we've got this microscopic buildup in our pores, and then that's creating, a situation, and it's going to manifest differently for different people. Could end up being acne or dry or oily or like melasma or eczema, and it's just going to manifest in different ways. So then that might send us to the dermatologist, and then we might get into like cortisone or steroids and that whole thing. So we've really got to stop washing with soap.
Yes,
which goes into I've a little system so we can remember, like, 'cause it's always like, how do we then take care of our skin or different microbiome areas? And so I created Stop, Seal, and Seed. So stopping is really about getting out of the way, and like stop washing your face with soap, your hands with antibacterial soap, showering in chlorine, even applying questionable naturals. Like we have a lot of things that are, rancid or poor quality. Just because there's a lavender on the label doesn't mean there's like lavender in the inside.
Yes. So
we want to have discernment there too. And things like almond oil are rancid pretty much when you're buying it. So you want to go with high quality things like the rosehip oil or jojoba. And so, so we want to stop. And then we want to seal. So that's about sealing, in this case, the skin. So if you've been using surfactants, then that's, it's like we have leaky guts. Well, then we can have like a leaky skin, because we've just disrupted the lipid barrier and the stratum corneum. So by washing with oil, we can reseal the skin. And my preference is jojoba, because it works so well with the skin sebum. And it unclogs pores. And I know for people that have acne, they're like, that's the craziest thing they've maybe ever heard. But it really is an ancient practice. And it's really beautifying, and it really keeps the skin balanced and harmonized and keeps the lipid barrier intact, keeps the stratum corneum intact, because that's our first layer of defense. That's our natural sunscreen. And we're just like exfoliating away and scrubbing it away. And it's kind of like going on vacation and leaving your front door open. It's leaving our faces so vulnerable.
Wow.
So that's the seal. And then the seed is about reseeding. So we want to think of our bodies and our skin like a kind of like a bacterial bank account. And so we want to have really diverse and plentiful probiotics and prebiotics. Prebiotics feed the probiotics. So we want to take like fermented foods, probiotics internally, and then also we can be applying them to our skin. We can take a honey mask, open a probiotic capsule. The honey is prebiotic. It's alive with enzymes, and you can put that on your face, and then we're reseeding.
Wow, beautiful. What about eating for beauty? You have a whole section on how to eat for beauty.
Yeah, so again, you know, the standard American diet isn't going to get us too far.
Really?
Yeah.
Hard.
And one of the most dangerous things, especially for women to be eating, is the polyunsaturated fatty acids that like the mazola and the canola, all that. That really creates melasma, hyperpigmentation in people. So we want to stop eating that. And, you know, obviously there's going to be different things that work for people. Like for some people, dairy is okay. For some people, it's not. Some people can eat potatoes. Some people can't because they're nightshades. So there's going to be refinements, but generally, when you know your body, you want to eat, you know, all whole foods, never processed, you know, a rainbow. You want to get all the pigments in there. So as many diverse kind of colors of food that you can think of, from turmeric, sea buckthorn, raspberries, blueberries, greens. You know, drink chlorophyll and green juices. We've got to get the colors in us. And, you know, you got to keep it fresh and real and keep the water real. And then you're going to have to see for yourself, like, how are you working with gluten or dairy, those kind of things. And then soy is another one. I just, because you probably have a lot of females listening, and that is such an acne aggravator. It's crazy.
Oh, is that right? I did not know that.
Yeah. And besides other hormonal imbalances, but yeah, it's not a skin food.
Oh, interesting. What is your favorite skin food?
Well, you know, I just have a variety in our diet.
Let's start this instead.
Yeah.
Nadine, tell us about what is your breakfast, lunch, dinner typically? What are the favorite foods, skin foods, or beauty foods that you incorporate in your meals every day?
You know, we kind of run like, it's not even seasonally, but we kind of eat something kind of for like a month, and then we move on to the next thing. So we just kind of dive into something. Then we also know all our decisions are there. And that is sort of what is in season. It's affected by it. So, you know, right now be like watermelon and celery juice we're really vibing with. We've been making flatbreads with tiger nut. So the tiger nut, which is actually a tuber. Yeah. So we've been making tiger nuts with the flatbreads with the psyllium. And the tiger nut flour, which has been great because we do eat gluten-free, dairy-free, and just having like lots of fresh sprouts in there, and working with ferments like you know, umbayashi plum paste and a non-soy miso. So, and also we make fresh sauerkraut. So I've been eating those things, and always lots of liquid concoctions, you know, whatever fun smoothie we're making that day.
Oh, that's wonderful.